morning. My name is Mohsen Jafari. I'm from Rutgers University, Department of Industrial and Systems Engineering, as well as CATE, Center for Advanced Infrastructure and Transportation, and CASE, Center for Advanced Energy Systems. My talk will be very quite related to previous speaker on the energy efficiency, and I'm going to focus on the production side of it. We talked about energy efficiency, and I want to focus on that. And my talk will be a bit more on the how to do or what to do side, and less on the policy. First, I want to give you the fundamental problem that we think is out there, and that is we want to look at the problem from the market side and what the government can do if you think about the policies, but more on the market side. We think that the manufacturing and more so on from a consumer point of view, the products that we are using in our house, cars, and everything else, they really contribute a lot in terms of the footprints that the energy has or the environmental footprints. And this is where we should really start doing things. So, and as the new administration is talking about, what is it that you can really do from your side, this is where we think that we should start doing it from our side. And that's really the consumer product. That's what we are using. Now, the fact is that we may be willing to pay a bit higher. And now what that a bit is something we have to investigate, but we may be willing to pay a bit higher for something that has more value in terms of environment, ecology, and in terms of energy. So the issue is, what is it that we are willing to pay, and how is it that it has to be drilled down, or it has to be distributed over the whole life cycle of a product, as well as the different companies and different industries that involve with that product, making that product. So we really want to take a product view of the whole thing. Rather than looking at the industry sectors and who's doing good or who's doing bad, we want to see, we will look at the end point. Us as a consumer, we want to look at the product and value that product in a different way. So that is really the paradigm that we are trying to promote. And actually, I'm not done with the first slide. So the issue is this. This is the fundamental problem we want to look into. Is how can we get this market dynamics? How can we get this price elasticity on the consumer product side and translate it to a better production system? As I'm going to explain to you in the next slides, there are different ways of you can do the production. And we are really at what we call type 1 production, where there's a lot of waste, and there's a lot waste in terms of ecology and waste in terms of energy. So we want to make a transformation from that type of system to a more advanced system where the production systems work like biological systems. We have to learn from the biology. And we want to be able to use the market dynamics to basically lead that. Now, just to start the whole discussion on this, first of all, US, we are among the worst in the world. I'm sorry to say that, but that's fact. Actually, this is what the quote or an article from New York Times, a very recent one, that in terms of the manufacturing and transportation, we are among the worst in the world. The waste and the energy use and the environmental impacts. And also on the same article, you can see the fact that, there are ways you can resolve the problem even without new inventions in technology. Maybe there are low-hanging fruits there that you have to really go after, and that is what we are trying to promote here. Next slide, please. So whose problem is it? Well, it's not only us. To us, it's a global problem, and I have a very specific point on that. See, for the last decade or so, we have been outsourcing our manufacturing to offshore, to different places, to China and so forth. And with the Kyoto Agreement and all this, we have been trying to play with this carbon credits. And, we sell carbons, we buy carbons and all that. See, I think we are missing the whole picture here that, the pollution you make in China, it's going to hit us one day. Or the pollution you make here is going to hit them one other day. This is a global problem. just by playing with the credits or outsourcing things, you may be moving problems from here to another place, but it's going to come back to us. So that is really the picture we are taking. This is everybody, it's all of us. We have to find a global solution. We have to look for holistic solutions. So who are the big players in this big problem? So if you actually look at the data, industrial sector is the largest single user of energy. And if you make a click on that, okay. This data is not very up to date, but it's up to 2005. And as you see, the industrial sector is the highest there. Now, you see some slowdown there, but it doesn't mean much. Because what has happened is, the next one, what has happened is that the problems have moved from US somewhere else. So actually, if you look at the map of China and the amount of energy they are using, it has gone, it is going high so badly. So even if you have stabilized here to a bit, it has gone worse somewhere else, and it's our problem. The fact is that in this whole picture, again, if you just look at this sector by sector, like industrial sector, yeah, they are doing bad. But I think you have to take a different view of this and look at the consumer goods here. The consumer goods, I take any consumer good in your house, take a dishwasher, take any appliances, whatever that you use, it has actually elements in all the sectors. It has industrial sector, it has service sector, transportation. So every consumer that you are using in your house has footprints on those sectors. So if you do a good job in one, but not so in the other one, again, if you add this up somehow with some function, you're still not doing that good. So next one. So let's compare these industrial systems with biological systems. After all, this has been around for 5 billion years, or maybe less or more. But let's see what the differences are. Well, there are basically 3 types. I'm not a biologist. We have a very good biologist in our team, and I'm learning a lot from her. The fact is that there are 3 types of ecological systems out there. 1, 2, 3. One is what we are doing, by the way, as an industrialist. We are basically a lot of waste. Nothing recycles. You know, it just goes one way. And I'm sorry to say that that's most of what we are doing. They say, yeah, we are doing some, but that's not out there completely. Type 2 is a quasi-cyclic system where you have some level of recycling, and you assume that the energy sources are finite and the environmental sources are finite, whereas in the first one, you assume that everything is infinite, and actually that has been our assumption so far. The last one is type 3. This is how our environment, how Earth works. And it has been out there for so many billions of years. It's still, if we don't destroy it, it's going to go by itself and it's going to work. So the goal is what? Next one, please. So the big problem is this. Currently, we are at type 1. Somehow, in some levels type 2, but mostly type 1. We need to go to type 2 or type 3. That's what we have to be. Okay, next one. So, can we take a holistic approach? Is that possible? And how can we get there? Well, to us, this is really a global puzzle. It has pieces all over the globe. It's everybody. You have this, it's a jigsaw puzzle. You have to put all this, glue all of them together. You have to go across industries, across, the borders, cultures, and so forth. And what we thought was that there is really one element that we all have in common, and that's our consumer products. Whatever you use in your home, some of it is made in China.